Alright, so it's the 22nd of August 2015, and I'm standing here in Meadowvale, Mississauga, and in this video I'm going to give you a tour of the very extensive multi-use trail network that exists in this suburb. Alright, so I'm starting this video from a park which is called Glen Eden Park. And it's in the area of Mississauga, which is north of Derry Road and a little bit east of Winston Churchill. So very northwest part of Mississauga. This area is known as Meadowvale. And earlier in the day I filmed a video which showed what my former daily bike ride to work was like back when I lived in this area briefly in the winter of 2009, back when I was 20 years old. And I really always liked this neighborhood, and I really like the extensive network of trails that winds its way through all of the different neighborhoods. I think it's a really great thing that this suburb has. And I think, you know, when building new suburbs, I think this is a really great thing that cities should try and do. Because these network of trails, you know, it's nice, like it basically connects behind all of the houses that are through the neighborhood, and there's this nice, you know, this nice park space. But all of these parks are linear and they all connect up with other parks. So you just get on this trail somewhere and you can ride or walk or rollerblade or ride a scooter, walk your dog, do any kind of activity like that for a really long distance without ever having to come in contact with any cars. Right here we're actually just going to go over top of a road which is called Derry Road. It's a very busy road. And they built this bridge which just goes right over top of it and connects up with other trails. I'll just show you what Derry Road looks like to the side. So it's a it's a busy arterial. The speed limit in this part of it is actually 70 kilometers per hour, so it's a really fast moving road. The lanes are not, you know, wide enough for you to ride a bike and someone to really pass you very safely. And no bike lanes, of course. So really not a great place to ride a bike, but it's great that they have these alternatives of being able to ride on a multi-use path which goes through the neighborhood. So this trail up ahead used to actually be part of my daily commute to work, so I know it fairly well. And there are signs along here telling you, you know, how far it is to certain destinations and just kind of wayfinding signs. I think they used to have wayfinding signs back when I lived here, but they've upgraded them and there's now more of them, and I think they're easier to follow. So this is called the Lake Aquitaine Trail, and that's because it leads to a lake, a small little lake that's in the middle of this community, which is called Lake Aquitaine. So we go through this little forest here first, and I always thought it was fun having a forest to ride through on my bike each day on my way to work. Not everybody gets to ride through a forest. It's not much of a forest, it's a pretty small one, but you know, there's a pretty good tree coverage over top. I never saw any really large animals inside of this forest. Nothing bigger than a squirrel. Actually, I should show another connection that this trail has over here to the right. Just follow this path here. So the great thing about this trail network is that it links to so many different little neighborhoods and streets and things. So there's this branch, for example, which leads over here and has one of these underpasses which goes underneath another busy road. And it just continues on and leads to more schools and more houses and backyards and parks and things which exist over this way. Nice big soccer field over here. As well as another school. And for the people that live in this neighborhood, it's great that they have this trail, which leads back over this way where we just came from, over to the, the larger network of trails, including that big lake, which we're about to see soon. I guess it's not a big lake, it's actually a very small lake, but it's somewhat unique for a park to have a lake which is inside of it, in the middle of a suburb like Mississauga. So we're back in this forest again. We'll follow this trail, which leads to another one of those bridge underpasses underneath a busy road. As I was saying in my last video, is when I was living in this neighborhood was when I bought my unicycle and I learned how to ride a unicycle. And this network of trails was the perfect motivation to learn how to unicycle, because there was, when you're learning how to unicycle, you have to practice an awful lot, or at least I did, to be able to slowly get my balance up, just spending hours on the unicycle. So it was really great having so many choices of different trails that I could take to go and ride on. So this here is on our right hand side is Lake Aquitaine. So it's not a big lake, but it's a big lake for a park in a city. So this trail loops all the way around, and I'm taking the long way around right now, but if I had turned right when we got to that fork, it would have been a more direct route, which would have taken me closer to where I used to live. Well, this used to be one of my all-time favorite spots to come and ride my bike or ride my unicycle, or I guess that's pretty much all I did. I didn't really walk a whole lot back then. But a really nice place to come when the weather is nice, to just do a loop around this lake. And I lived here, so it was the winter, so it was January until the end of April. So that includes when all the snow starts to melt and everything. So it was really nice coming here in the spring and seeing everybody coming out and enjoying the outdoors for the first time after a long winter. And these trails were just full of people, kids, adults, people walking with strollers, walking their dogs, rollerblading, riding scooters, riding bikes, you name it. There were so many people out on this trail. And if you see here on the right, there's this little exercise equipment thing. This is called the Lake Aquitaine Exercise Circuit. So what you do if you wanted to, get some exercise, you could jog a lap around the lake, and then every time you see one of those, you can stop and do some kind of a workout. That was something that I think has been added since I moved away from this area. Though it's something that you start to see popping up in all kinds of parks all over the place. Not a particularly original idea. There's another one here. I guess there's 6 of them in total. This is number 3. The last one we saw was number 4, so we're counting down. Thank you.
Welcome.
So I'm just going to show you over this way a little bit. We've now pretty much gone all the way around the lake. But over here there's a connection which leads to the small little mall which is in this community where all the main stores are. There's a grocery store and, you know, a Canadian Tire department store and a lot of the big box stores that are in a lot of communities. On the right here, there's a community center which is under construction. I think there used to be an old community center there, and they're rebuilding it, or they're building a new one at least. So again, to get to the community center, we get to go underneath this nice underpass. We don't have to worry about waiting for our turn to cross the road, and you can see that underpass actually has a skylight in the middle, so there's natural sunlight which shines through during the day. So having this multi-use trail connect up with the mall makes it really easy for people to be able to use their bike or other methods to be able to go and do their shopping. I'll just do a quick little lap around the mall here. There's the Canadian Tire straight ahead. There's a restaurant here on the right which is called the Symposium Cafe. You know, you got a drugstore, the Shoppers Drug Mart. Got a library in here. Got a dollar store. All kinds of little restaurants as well. And Metro, that's the local grocery store here. This is where I used to buy about 90% of my food when I lived in the area. You know, pizza restaurant, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is our coffee shop chain throughout Canada. Oh, and all the banks here as well, you know, TD Bank, CIBC, Bank of Montreal. We'll head back in this direction and get back onto the trail, back onto the regularly scheduled program. If I followed this path here to the right, it would lead to another connection that the trail has, although that part of the trail is closed right now. It's a really nice sunny Saturday, not too warm. It's around 26 Celsius. The last week or so, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a bit of a heat wave where it's been, you know, above 30 quite a lot. So having a day like today is a nice change. This is the video, well, this video as well as the commuting video that I posted before this one were some videos that I've been wanting to make for a while. I've really been wanting to get out here again because I really did like this neighborhood and I loved riding on these trails. Today was a nice warm sunny day and I figured why not come out here? So I considered riding my bike all the way out here. It's probably more than 40 kilometers, maybe a little bit less, but around 40 kilometers from my current home to come out here. And I figured, well, I could probably ride my bike out here, but I wanted to come here to actually do my riding and enjoy riding on these trails. So I figured if I rode all the way here, by the time I got here, I wouldn't have a lot of energy to go and explore around. So I figured I'd take the bus instead. And there's a bus which leads out here from downtown Toronto every half hour. And it only takes about between half an hour and 40 minutes to get out here. So I decided to do that instead. We just went underneath another busy road there. So if I were going home from work, I would make a right here and we go that way, but if you've already seen my commuting video, you've already seen that pathway there. So we're gonna go left instead. And I haven't ridden on this in a long time since I lived here really, so I don't exactly remember where I'm supposed to be going here, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This leads to another lake, or a really small lake, more like a reservoir. Well, now I'm a little bit lost. I wonder if I go this way or if this is a dead end. Let's try this way at least. If we have to turn around, then we have to turn around. The thing is, this trail just leads off in so many directions to connect to so many different things that it's pretty hard to make a wrong turn. Yeah, I think this is a dead end. It just leads to the, for the people that live in this area to get on the trail. So just an offshoot. We've got a little road to cross here. We'll just slow down and cross it. This is the Lake Wabukayne Trail. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. That is the name of that little mini lake that we're going to go around. I think that's a native name for it, just based on the way that it's spelled. Another little forest we get to ride through. The asphalt here is a little bit older than the other, so it's a little bit bumpy, but that's not a problem for me. Alright, this is the lake, so there's no swimming allowed. You're not allowed to swim in the Lake Aquitaine either. You are allowed to go fishing inside it though. Well, the lake is over on the right hand side, although it's kind of covered mostly by trees and stuff. Here there's a lookout here that you can see it. Not really. You can see the dam which leads to it, but over there in the distance is where the little mini lake is. Well, maybe from the end here we'll be able to see with the camera. Oops. Kinda. So there's our mini lake there. This is another place I used to like to come with my unicycle. Just do a lap around here and then head back home afterwards. Back in those days, after I got my unicycle and I was learning it, that was my typical way of spending an evening. Once it was, spring. I think I got the unicycle in the middle of March, or closer to near the end of March, when it was just starting to get warmer outside, and all the snow was melting and the days were getting longer. So I just, come home from work, have my dinner, and then I just go and ride my unicycle until it got dark outside. I think this way. This just continues on around the lake. But we might have to go back that way anyways, because that might be where the path continues. Here's more of the lake. Let me see if I can get out of here along this path here. I think I can. Yep. Yeah, so that path to the right there would have led to that other path that I could have taken. So even though I used to come here until it was dark, all of these pathways are lit up. You can see there's street lights which line along them. So you can ride them any time of the day. Here we're going underneath another one of these beautiful underpasses. This is called Glen Eden Drive, the road that we're crossing. Remember, this hill we here was particularly hard to climb on a unicycle because there's no gear reduction on a unicycle. So hills are hard to climb. Although since then I've been able to climb much steeper hills than that. There's another set of soccer fields through here. Other parks, playgrounds, things like that. The other nice thing about these trails is during the winter they plow them. They seem to get about the same level of service that they do with the roads. It seems like they plow them when it snows, and the roads, the pathways are about as clear as the roads are. So you can use them year round for riding your bike or walking your dog or whatever you like to do on these trails. Oh, Looks like this section here might be closed. Don't know how far it's like this on gravel, but we'll ride along anyway. Apologize if the video is pretty shaky. I know that the camera picks up a lot of the bumps if you're on a bumpy road. Yeah, it looks like this continues on for a while, so maybe I'll change my mind about riding on here. So that trail there would have continued back up to the place where there was a Y, and I went left right before I went down that dead end road and went the wrong way. And it just completes a circle which leads eventually back to where the lake was. But I don't think it's really worth going up there, because I'll just have to turn around and come back, because we'll get to a place where we've already been before. But you'll be able to see that stretch of the trail if you watch my my bike commute video. So now I'm connecting up with the pathway. If I had turned left a little ways back, it would have taken me to this trail right here, which leads to another overpass bridge, which takes me over top of Winston Churchill Boulevard. There's another busy arterial. It's a north-south arterial. So we'll see that bridge momentarily. And this bridge here is actually very special to me, because it's where I, for the very first time, learned how to ride a unicycle for, an extended distance. If you research, how to learn how to ride a unicycle and, instructional videos like that and how to do it, they say it's really important to find an area where you can have a wall or something that's at the right height that you can hold on to it while you're practicing back and forth. And I tried lots of walls and fences and things like that, but this bridge here happened to have a railing which is right at the exact right height. This railing up here is really at the right height for me when I'm sitting on my unicycle. So I came here with my unicycle and I just ride back and forth across this bridge holding onto that railing until eventually I could take my hand off for a few seconds and then put my hand back and take my hand off for a few seconds. And then one time I was able to hold on, get all the way across the bridge with no hands, and I kept going, and I came down this big hill here. I slowed down a bit, looked both ways here, continued on and kept riding, and it was the very first time I was actually able to ride and finally be able to put it all together and be able to comfortably ride my unicycle. So riding on that bridge brings back memories. So this area here is really close to the house where I used to live. I lived in a basement apartment of one of these houses in this neighborhood. So now we're on the west side of Winston Churchill. And this trail is discontinuous for a short little section up ahead here, but then it continues again on the other side of a road. Hopefully I'm going the right way. I think this plaza here used to have a Max Milk in it. It's now got a Daisy Mart convenience store, but I think it's pretty sure it used to have either a 7-Eleven or a Max Milk. And I remember I used to like to ride my unicycle up there and have a Slurpee, get a slushie and drink that while I was unicycling. This school here was very close to the house that I lived at, and I used to come here in that schoolyard and I used to practice my unicycle a lot. You're probably sick of hearing me talking about unicycling so much, but a big part of living here was riding a unicycle. It was a lot of fun. So if we were to make a right here, that pathway would lead to the house where I used to live. It's on a street called Glen Eden Drive. And now we're heading north, parallel with Winston Churchill. And we're about to go over another one of those nice bridges that leads over top of another arterial. Should be coming up shortly. Trying to remember what the name of this road here is. There's a high school here coming up on the right. What's the name of this high school? Can't see it on the side of it. The great thing about these paths is that all along them is where all the schoolyards are. All the schools are all, built so that they back onto these multi-use trails, which makes it really great for allowing kids to be able to ride their bikes or walk to school. Because you got this network of great infrastructure, and then you build all the destinations along it. It makes it even better. Oh, we got another forest to go through here. Passing another school over on the right. And then more schoolyards up ahead on the left. Lots of schools around here. I think we got another pedestrian bridge here to go over. Yeah, that's right. I wonder if this is Derry Road again. We're crossing. I think it is. No, not busy enough to be Derry Road. Derry Road still to come. As we're just crossing here is the gas pipeline. There's nothing built there. Over top of the pipes. And I guess it's almost the end of the trail here. Or there's a sidewalk here, but the trail does continue for a little bit further up this way. I'm not sure how long this video is so far, but it's probably going to be a pretty long video, so hope you're enjoying following along with it. Although even though it's probably going to be pretty long, I think it's better to keep it all as one long video rather than breaking it up into smaller segments. I think this might be the end of the trail here. I mean, this trail. There's another trail very close by that we're going to continue on to. Oh yeah, the Milgrove Trail. I guess we're still technically on the trail. This is Derry Road up ahead. The busy arterial. I'm going to take a look at my map here so we make sure we're going the right way. Alright, so I think I know where I'm going now, so we'll continue along and make a left here. And we'll get onto a road which is called 10th Line. And 10th Line supposedly has a bike lane on it. I knew parts of it had a bike lane back when I lived here, but I think they've extended it now and almost all of it does. So that should be nice. There we go. So of course we're heading north now. If I kept going on here, I'd end up in the country, on country roads. And make a left here at Cactus Gate. Now we're heading west. And if I kept going west in this direction, I'd eventually get into farmland as well. We're really at the very edge of Mississauga. I'm just going over here so I can connect up with another set of multi-use trails, another creek that I'll follow back in the south direction. And once I get to the bottom of that creek, then that'll be the end of this video. We still got lots more riding to do before we get to there. Alright, so up ahead is where I joined that pathway. I see some construction equipment. I hope that doesn't mean that the trail is closed. Looks like they're just doing some pumping. So this trail is more like a marsh. I guess it is like a creek, but it's not a big waterway. The trail does go a little bit further north on the other side of the creek. If I were to turn right here and do a U-turn, I would be able to continue further north, but I think with the length of video we've already got, I think you probably don't need to see that for now. And we'll just continue on to the south. Here's one of those wayfinding signs with a map of the trail. This is called the Lisgar Meadow Brook Trail. So it shows you where you are on the trail and where it goes. So I'll continue this in the south direction. And it goes past, again, lots of schoolyards. Lots of schoolyards along this trail too. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any really good off-road connection between this trail and the one that we were on before. It's kind of its own network. But it in itself is a quite long trail, so being connected might not necessarily be that important. Another schoolyard there on our right. Looks like they're redeveloping it though. It's schoolyard just full of gravel and dirt. Some people playing some baseball. And we'll cross over the creek again. Oh, it looks like this part is being redeveloped as well. Pedestrian sidewalk closed. Well, I think I'm going to go on it anyways. I apologize for the bumpiness of the trail. I'm sure in a few months if we came back here, this would be really nice, perfectly smooth, flat asphalt. But for now, we'll put up with the bumpiness. I think it's this Dairy Road here that we're going underneath of, or under this bridge. Oh, some ducks. Ah, here we go. And we're back on a nice, freshly paved trail. Now you can really see on the right that it's just a marsh that runs through here. It's not like there's certainly not a river, probably not even considered a creek. Just a big marshy area. But really nice that they've got a nice trail which runs up along beside it, away from all the traffic and noise. Trail jogs a little bit over this way, away from the marsh for a little bit, so I can pass through this park here with soccer fields, the playground. Cross back over the marsh onto the other side, continue along. Another big schoolyard. Baseball diamond. Let's see what's up here. Another bunch of soccer fields. We'll come back down here and continue on along the pathway. So sign here for uneven pavement, but I think that sign probably predated this most recent paving job because there's no uneven pavement to speak of here. The main trail continues over this way, although I gotta make a crossing over the road on my own. No underpass or overpass here. So we'll slow down and look both ways. Continue across. So many kilometers of trailways. I'll admit this video is taking longer than I thought it would take to do all these trails. You know, you look at them on the map and you just think, oh, I'll just go around here and then go back around here and do this and this and this. And that shouldn't take that long. But then once you get on them, they're a lot further than they look on the map. When I'm done this video, I'll look forward to taking a stop and maybe buying a Slurpee or something to rehydrate myself and to cool down a bit, because it's a warm day. I guess we go back over the marsh here again. Back to the other side. It does zigzag back and forth quite a bit. And the way this trail here is built with little trees on either side, and it's so straight it almost seems like a railway path. But I'm pretty sure there's never a train that ran through here. I'm pretty sure it just... the way that the property lines worked or something, that all the houses stopped on that straight line on our left. And when they built the trail, they built it to run along parallel with that property line. More little soccer fields. These are the mini soccer fields for little kids to play on. They're very small, with very small nets that I'd be taller than. Alright, we got another little road to cross here. I'll slow down and look both ways. We're still on the Lisgar Meadow Brook Trail. Well, really close to the end now. There's a neat little marsh here. I guess, well, everything's been a marsh so far on this trail, but I don't know, I guess it's almost a lake. It's probably a very shallow lake, which you can go around. I think I must have missed the turn to do it, but I'll be able to go the other way around here. It's over on our right. So I come along here. This is where the big marsh lake thing is. There it is. So I think what these lakes primarily are, they're kind of like man-made, and they're kind of they're where the water from the storm sewers, you know, the sewers that collect the water that falls when it rains onto the streets. I think they all feed into, you know, a reservoir like this, which makes a little bit of a lake, and then it gives it some area that this lake can fill up or go down depending on how much rain there is. And then when it overfills, when it gets really, really high, then the water can go into the local streams and creeks. Sign says no swimming allowed. Not allowed to go swimming in these man-made lake things. I don't think you really want to. They're not very deep, and they're pretty brown looking, pretty murky on the bottom. So this road here, I think this is either the 11th line or the 12th line. But if I look over and that direction out there, there's a highway that you can see, that's the 407, and then beyond there, it's all just farmland. It hasn't been developed into neighborhoods yet over there. So this is pretty much the very edge of Mississauga. I think this road here might actually be the border between Mississauga and the next municipality over. This marsh thing that we just going around is called the Osprey Marsh. There's another look at it from this side to show you the lookout through there. So there's a little island which runs all along the middle. Or I guess it's not really an island, it's a divider that stretches the full length of it. So anyway, I really think that having these trails really is a nice feature to have in a suburb. And like, I remember when I lived here, I always thought this would be a nice area to live in. I really like living in the city, like living right in a really urban area, like, you know, in Toronto where I live now. But if I were to live in a suburb, I think this would be certainly near the top of my list of where I would want to live. It's just a very, very nice community, how all these trails just tie everything together, and it does seem like, to me, like a very bike-friendly community, being able to get on these trails and ride, and you know, have these are here mostly as recreational trails, but the fact that they connect up with the school and with the, you know, the Meadowvale Town Center, the mall where the grocery store and library and everything were. It's a really nice connectivity that you get there, and it makes it into a pretty bike-friendly community. So we're just backtracking a bit, we're repeating what we've already done for this little stretch here, then we'll continue on down in the south direction, and then think this trail is going to be a dead end pretty soon. So that's where we'll end our video. Yeah, so as you can see there on the left side it says trail ends. So this is the end of it, although there is a paved path which goes along this arterial here. But I think this is a good spot to end the video. So I hope you've enjoyed joining me on my tour through the bike paths through the Meadowvale Mississauga neighborhood. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this video. And thanks for watching.